Good. That's reset injection. So now let's talk about a more complicated threat, that is data injection. And I was alluding to this in a previous lecture, but I want to go through it a little bit more systematically. The point of data injection attacks are that if the attacker knows the right ports and sequence number, then the attacker can inject malicious data into an existing TCP connection. Okay? So this allows an attacker to take an existing TCP connection and kind of take it over and replace what data is being sent. Okay, so for instance, let's suppose we have an existing TCP connection here. The attacker can send a spoofed packet containing some evil data that the attacker chose. And how does the attacker do that? They need to send a spoofed packet with a spoofed source address of machine A. If you know the IP addresses and port numbers of the endpoints, that's no problem. You can send a spoofed packet from anywhere. And this packet is going to need to have the right sequence number and port numbers for it to be accepted by the recipient. But if the attacker is on path and can observe the sequence numbers, then the attacker will know what sequence number B is expecting next and can fill in the right sequence number, and so can send this malicious data. And now B will think that it was sent by A, even though it actually wasn't. Okay? So a kind of an example threat of this would be there are tools like Airpwn and Quantum, which work by, let's say you're connecting to a website over Wi-Fi, and it's not using a secured connection, it's not using HTTPS. Then Airpwn is eavesdropping constantly to look at all the packets, waiting to see if anyone connects to a website. And then if they see you connecting to a website, then they will inject some data into the connection from the server to your machine to like maybe replace one of the images with a funny meme or something like that if the Airpwn user is having fun. Or if they're being malicious, they might replace some of the JavaScript that's being sent from the web server to your machine to modify the behavior of that website and, like, I don't know, make a copy of any password you enter into that website and upload it to the attacker, or anything else that you do on that website now is controlled by the attacker. Okay, so basically what this shows you is that if there's an on-path attacker who can eavesdrop on your traffic, then the security of your TCP connections is toast. Okay? So this is a kind of attack that can be mounted by an on-path attacker or a man in the middle, but not by an off-path attacker, because an off-path attacker won't know the sequence numbers. Okay? Good so far? Cool. So I could walk you through how this works. I think it'd be a repeat. Basically, we wait for the client to send a GET request to the server asking to download a web page, and then the attacker sends a spoofed packet with the right sequence numbers with a malicious response. Now, notice that the server will also respond at some point with the correct, benign, honest data. But okay, that just gets discarded because it has the same sequence number. It arrives later. The TCP software says, oh, this was a duplicate. I see I've already received for that sequence number. I don't need another copy. I'll ignore it. So the benign data sent by the server is just ignored and replaced by the malicious data.